What's life-changing for Anthill being able to partner with HearteFino was that the constant presence they provided us. The constant presence wasn't just cheering us on to kind of keep continuing the work, but also challenging us to be accountable to our commitments. At the same time, challenging us to rise above creatively, even through hard and difficult times.
Our advocacy should go deeper than perhaps just merely supporting the artisanal communities. No? We wanted to be able to surface certain messages of sustainability, of valuing your heritage, valuing culture.
HearteFino does what it does because we want to improve the outputs of all the community and we want to improve their livelihood.
In 2019, we awarded Anthill a grant from the HearteFino Foundation. This was a grant primarily focused on the zero waste initiatives of the Hablon Lauriana community in Argao.
The zero waste innovation was something that came about because of HearteFino. It was the birth of zero waste. HearteFino as a platform was the enabling environment that birthed our zero waste weaves. We used it also as a way for us to keep experimenting and expanding the possibilities, the infinite possibilities of what we can do with waste in HearteFino. Sustainability for me personally is being able to utilize our resources today in a manner that will still benefit the future generation. And so how we treat culture today, may it be through craft traditions, through food, through a way of life, is something that we should honor and celebrate and care for in a manner that the future generation is able to still value and appreciate it.
Kamay pa ko, ang akong namahuan dyan sa Hablon, akong inahan. Grade 3 pa ko nagsugod og Hablon dayon. Ato maghablon ko bisag paluon ko sa akong mama, kasab-an ko. Padayon lang gihapon ko Hablon para lang ko kamao, para sa akong kaugmaon kay ako nauna di man jud ka pa eskwela akong mama kay tungod sa ka pagpribitaw.
So it really depends on the design. But the basic element of a fabric, a woven fabric, is the weft and the warp. So you warp the fabric using thread in like a web-like structure. And they warp the thread, and that's the design from up down. So you take the warp out from the frame, from the warping frame, and then you attach it on to the loom. So you basically have to knot it to the loom, attaching thread by thread, strand by strand, attaching it to the loom. And that alone in itself takes another day. You have to then prepare your weft. So your weft is what runs from left to right. You take a thread and you spool it. So like there's a small spinner and you spool it, and they make these small bamboo threads that they use as weft. And then you attach that to the shuttle, and then you sit on your loom, pedal a certain way, and make sure your hand and your mind and your heart is very well coordinated once you start weaving. At the forefront, you see Anthill as a fashion brand, but at the core of what we do is really community development and capacity building. So we felt the need to do this because our end goal is to really sustain livelihood. And to do that, every artisan has to have an entrepreneurial mindset.
Medyo may edad na ako, kaya nung pumasok ko rito, 50 plus na ako eh. Saka nagustuhan ko rin yung pamamaraan dito. May benefits, gano'n. Kaya dito na ako tumagal.
Kasi para lang kami mga magkakapatid at tatay.
Every time na nagpo-community visit kami is meron talaga kaming siniset na goal Like for example, magkakandak kami ng trainings. Like mostly yung focus namin is to really build the community para ma-improve yung business management nila.
For the work we do at the HearteFino Foundation, we try to spend a lot of time getting to know these impact entrepreneurs. We try to learn their stories. We try to learn what motivates them, what their processes are, how authentic are the processes, the stories, the metrics that emerge. And these are what we look for, whether they are aligned with what it is HearteFino Foundation is trying to surface.
We wanted to establish Argao as our Textile Research and Innovation Center. And because of HearteFino's support to Anthill, we've grown the community of members, and they needed to have more looms and have more space also to accommodate more weavers. The community also expressed that some of the women are only able to work after they facilitate their household duties, and so that means late at night, but it's not very well lit. The weaving center is not very well lit, so they also had needs to have proper lighting fixtures within the center. That was another goal in mind. Third is, how are we able to continue expanding the zero waste innovation?
Well, community visits are important because we are helping a certain community. It's important to be very present and to know exactly what they're doing. So the visit is very enlightening. And then we also have to visit kasi we also need to find out what their needs are.
We had a roundtable discussion with the weavers, and you really realize that you're more alike than you think. These are mothers, women who are worried about their children, who want a better life for their children, who want a brighter future for them. And that is something we all share.
Hindi kami titigil dito. Umpisa lang ito ng pagtulong namin sa inyo. At sana makakuha kami ng mas maraming pamaraan para dumali itong ginagawa niyo ito, na mas maganda pa ang maging kalabasan ito.
Yeah, it was so pleasant to talk to the ladies there. And I feel that they were quite happy seeing us also. And they have given us their experiences, how this weaving have helped them.
One of the weavers said that I never knew that I could actually perceive weaving as a profession. I didn't think it would be something that I would make sure I pass on to my daughter, to my granddaughter as my pamana. It's the legacy that will ensure that they will never go hungry.
Ako po si Lauriana Olager. Ako ang may-ari dito sa pang-Hablon namin. 71 years old na ako. Pag-umpisa namin ito sa panghabi namo, simula sa mama ko. Sa maliit pa ako, mga 12 or 14 years, nag-umpisa ako ng paghabi para matuto.
Gusto ko makatulong sa mama ko. Nung una si Mama Auring is kanang hindi pa siya kaya tig-anon pa ka, ganun, tig-roll pa ka, tig-kalinyas. Then, kurso man jud ko nga, Hablon jud ko. Oto kuanan ko niya. Yan, nasuko pa ganito yung sister kay masayop niya, magbayad ba sa ilo. Gipaningkamot na lang yun ako sa Ginoo nga, di jud ta masayop. Then, okay raman. Success.
Okay, one of the notable stories was one lady. She said na napaaral daw niya, 6 na anak niya. And it kinda resonated with me. Because, I come from a family that sews. My grandmother, the mother of my grandmother, my mother, they sew. And my mother would always say na her craft, her livelihood helped my father put same amount, 6 kids to school. So that really resonated and touched me. And that's what I mean about how you share stories with these ladies.
Na-inspired ako maghablon. Sa aking, makatulong ako sa aking pamilya. Kasi malaki na aking pamilya. Ani mga aking anak. Ang akong bana, kanang mananggot lang. Kamay rabi ang income. Mano maghablon diri ka na. Ma-inspired yung hablon, labi na nga.
And what's also nice with the stories that you hear them, they love their work. The craft kasi, if you love it, di ba? Makikita mo yun eh, di ba?
Ay, salamat kaayo sa HearteFino nga binigay ng grant sa amin. Tapos may building di additional namin sa mga binigay nila. May 4 na hablon na nagawa namin.
So to me, really, the essence of community is very much what we live for in Anthill. It is coming together to work towards a shared mission or a common goal by sharing or by an exchange of gifts. And this is what we really do.
It's quite difficult to put into words the feelings we had when we visited the Argao community of Anthill. The lessons, the learnings, the interaction that happened during that time were quite heartwarming and quite, in a sense, fulfilling because we realized this is where HearteFino would like to go.
I think HearteFino is on the right track in trying to help communities to be able to maybe someday stand on their own.
With so little, I think there's so much we can do.